Greetings, my fellow freedom love-solving thinkers. Thank you for tuning in to LO3 Podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the wild and wonderful Mountain State. And today's date is Thursday, May 20th, 2021. Yeah, it's cool down right now in West Virginia, the mid-Ohio Valley region, to be exact. Enjoying my little property and still working some of the projects here. And it's coming along good. No rush, no stress, or anything like that. So I'm very pleased. And it was a little bit warm in this area, so now it has cooled down a lot. And I like it. So everyone out there in the southeast region, hopefully folks be safe. Yeah, a lot of chaos. Bizarro world when it comes to the new one world order. Control us like minions, trying to persuade us to get the COVID passports and the vaccines, which are unapproved by the FDA. I know the serums aren't kosher. I asked that to Broward Commissioner Mayor Steve Geller on that, and he never responded. Oh well, that's just how it goes. You know, and it's not being anti-Semitic at all. So, I'm just enjoying myself here. And hopefully everyone's getting ready. It looks like something storms is developing in the Atlantic. So possibly the hurricane season may come a little bit early again this year. So, just be aware along the Atlantic coastline and prep yourself the best you can. And of course, expect hyperinflation little by little, and certain regions of our republic are going to do things half-ass as usual. And of course, you got politicians believe to support the weak and the pathetic and punish the productive. Nothing new at all. And even with the other like 5 counties, I remember did a show on it a while back. They have approved, according to the Epoch Times, have approved to be with the state of Idaho. If you look at it, that's mainly in the rural areas. If more people, if more counties start doing that, Oregon's going to be in Craps Creek for sure. Hey, Kate Brown, what you got to say about that? Hitler in drag, or Marxist in drag, or even a caller, another tyrannical scum queen, as that individual is, because her ethics are horrendous, including some of the clowns in that area, which is horrible because there's some awesome people in that state, but they got a lot of pissants thinking they're smarter than their own oath. So, and actually, they're more trust pins are more intelligent than them. The rate they're going. Yeah. So, I think it'll be a good move in my view, and hey, it'll give Idaho more leeway. So, and I read their state constitution article, the Declaration of Rights. They do implement it really honorably. So that's very good, and that's the name of the game. Of course, they got your little shysters in there, your boss hogs, and your glamour hacks. Think they're smarter than everybody else. You got to get rid of those so-called geniuses. Because the truth of the matter is, they need the people more than people need them. I've been saying that for a very long time, and don't regret it one bit. And yeah, just enjoying the scenery here, folks. Hopefully, anyone that's listening will do the same. Just invest in hard assets, and land is one of them. Because I'll be very frank, I don't really have a whole lot. Just taking care of my mom, and she's good. Don't get me wrong, she's good. Plus, living in a camper. So have it down there, and it's cool. And of course, living in my pickup truck for a while. So now, have my own house. My colleague has hers. All been paid off. I think it's awesome. So I'll be going back and forth as usual. and it's fine because I do appreciate that. I still love South Florida. Have their crackpots down there too, like Broward County. But it doesn't mean you can complain and don't take any actions. Many of us are making those steps and shaking up the elected servants down there and the bureaucrats in those areas, which is good. That's the way you have to do. That's the way it has to be. Because the truth of the matter is, we're the boss, not them. And they assume they are the elected princes and princesses of the jurisdiction, which is invalid. Other words, null and void. Yeah, so, and, okay, speaking of that, I know I've been ranting a little bit. Just had to get a few things off my chest. And I was fun of one more thing, too. I was watching one video clip about the mask, and, for the students. It looks like the superintendent and so forth agreed to make it optional for next school season, which is, I do commend them for that. And even though it was a 13-minute video clip, there's one lady in there start calling conspiracy theorists and baseless rhetoric from this group called Floridians First, which they originally based out of Broward County, Florida, and now they have a chapter in Miami-Dade. And it's so much nonsense. Talking about saying the COVID's only a flu, this and that. And I'll be very frank. This woman has a projection fetish. And I could tell her this. Thank you for promoting the cause. And the reason why I say that, because I involved with these individuals, and they know who I am, and the president for that group. Him and I are friends for 12 years. And we have met through the Tea Party, Fort Lauderdale Tea Party. And Nadine, God bless her soul, may her be forever free. And Jacques, hopefully he's doing well. I heard some health issues from this man, which is a shame. But I do wish him the best. He always treat me real good. And sometimes I may have my differences, but I always say positive things about him, personally. And they always say, hello, Craig, how you doing? They always hug me, and they see me with my anti-UN flag, and above that, my American flag. So, and I still do it with them as well. And it's mainly the principle, okay, on what's been happening. And like when people ask me about President Trump, and I give him I criticize on his faults too. But I don't go around saying he's the worst president ever. He's a racist, homophobe. I'm not a parrot. I judge him on his merits. Okay, like any other politician out there, elected servant. And that's essential, because I did the same thing with Governor DeSantis too. I wrote a couple letters and let him know I disagree because it contradicts this in my own personal viewpoint. And of course, he is, and it's okay, as long as it's good to have a dialogue, because it doesn't mean you have all the answers. But if you give them ideas, they think about it. Instead of screaming and yelling and calling them a bunch of douchebags, anything like that, unless they really deserve it. But I have my moments too. Don't worry, they earned it. It's always good to interact, even with these individuals, elected servants, especially on a local level, local and state at the most. Right now, the federal government's like a twilight zone, demented kooks, for I'm saying, demented criminals. That's what DC stands for. And sometimes I just scratch my head on some of what some of these people are thinking. I'm like, what? Don't make any sense at all. So I know I digress a little bit, but that's all well and good. And sorry about that. Actually, I was going to do one article today on a viewpoint pertaining to right to a fair trial. This one came from the AmericanFreePress.net, is on their page, and I encourage people to subscribe to them. They're a good newspaper, and because those are what you want, good information, not just partisan rhetoric or always baseless viewpoints or partisan viewpoints. But it says here, are fair trial and impartial trial, are fair and impartial trials a thing of the past in the U.S.? This is from Donald Jeffries. Roger Stone was targeted for political prosecution. That's why a SWAT team conducted a highly publicized pre-dawn raid on his home. An activist judge openly antagonistic to his politics and led a juror who posted anti-Trump and anti-Stone opinions on social media during the trial, eliminated any chance he had at impartial trial. And very few seemed to care. Considering the death of George Floyd precipitated many times violent riots across the country, was it actually possible for the officer charged with murdering him, Derek Chauvin, to get an unbiased jury of his peers? A jury predictably found Chauvin guilty on all charges, at least temporarily, quelling the unrest that was sure to erupt again if the verdict has been less severe. Regardless of how one viewed Floyd's death, did Chauvin really receive a fair trial? Incredibly, the family of Floyd was awarded a $27 million settlement from the city of Minneapolis. At the same time, jury selection was ongoing for Chauvin's upcoming trial. Such an award certainly tainted Chauvin as guilty in the minds of any potential jurors. Richard Nixon rightly was criticized by civil libertarians of the time for publicly proclaiming Charles Manson guilty prior to his trial. In a similar vein, Joe Biden declared that, "I'm praying that the Chauvin verdict is the right verdict," which I think is overwhelming in my view, while the jury was still deliberating. Although Biden tried to defend his comments by saying, "I wouldn't say that unless the jury was sequestered now." Not hearing me say that. Senator Ted Cruz was outraged. Cruz tweeted, "Joe Biden decides that Maxine Waters shouldn't be the only politician foolishly providing grounds for a mistrial or a possible basis on appeal to challenge any guilty conviction." Waters. I call it a demon on Esther. Yeah, has famously egged on demonstrators by declaring, "We got to get more confrontational." Judge Peter Cahill, who presided over the Chauvin trial, had reacted angrily to Waters' remarks, saying, "I wish elected officials would stop talking about this case, especially in a matter that's disrespectful to the rule of law and to the judicial branch and our function." You know what? If he had a sheriff in that county, I would arrest that sack of sap and throw her in the damn cage. "I'm a congresswoman." I don't give a damn. Get in that cage. You treat them like they are pieces of garbage. That's all I got to say about that figure-headed sap, Maxine Waters, okay? Brandon Mitchell, one of the jurors in the Chauvin case, recently created even more controversy. Mitchell told Chuck Cahill during the jury selection process he had no prior knowledge of the Floyd case. In fact, Mitchell had been photographed at a protest last August wearing a shirt reading, "Get off your knee, get your knee off our necks," and BLM. After the trial was over, Mitchell was admitted that he wanted to serve on a jury to pursue an agenda. In an April 27th radio interview, Mitchell commented, "I mean, it's important if we want to see some change. We want to see some things going different. We gotta into these avenues, get into these rooms, try to spark some change. Jury duty is one of those things. Jury duty, voting, and all of those things we got to do." Even when confronted with the photograph that contradicted his claims of impartiality, Mitchell ludicrously claimed, "I think I was being extremely honest during the jury selection process. I gave my views on everything on the case on Black Lives Matter." So, Chauvin's legal team has filed a motion in the Minneapolis court requesting a new trial on multiple grounds, including jury misconduct. The motion cited abuse of discretion that deprived the defendant of a fair trial, prosecutorial and jury misconduct, errors of law at trial, and a verdict that is contrary to law, referring to the obvious threat of violence from a not guilty verdict. His attorneys noted the jury committed misconduct, felt threatened or intimidated, felt race-based pressure during the proceedings, and or failed to adhere to instructions during deliberations, in violation of Mr. Chauvin's constitutional rights to due process and a fair trial. Attorney Eric Nelson also alleged there has been prejudicial publicity regarding the trial during the proceedings, as well as jury intimidation and potential fear of retribution among jurors. The motion also charged that the court had abused its discretion and violated Mr. Chauvin's rights under the Confrontation Clause when it failed to order key witness Maurice Hall to testify or allow his statement to police to be admitted into evidence. Hall was riding in the car with Floyd the day he died. Cahill had quashed a subpoena compelling him to testify. Not surprisingly, John Stiles, Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison's deputy chief of staff, responded by saying the court has already rejected many of these arguments and the state will vigorously oppose them. Ellison has asked Cahill to issue the maximum sentence for Chauvin. Although the odds seemed against it, considering the political ramifications, even Newsweek has cited Cahill's failures to sequester the jury as potentially causing the verdict to be overturned. Wow, wow, wow. Even from Newsweek. Interesting. Let me tell you folks something. All you so-called social justice warriors, paper activists, tyrannical scumbags. That's all into one. I'm sorry. Your exploitation is going to backfire on you when least expect it. Do you want a right to a fair trial? I don't give a damn if you like Derek Chauvin or not. That is not the point of this. Do you want your family members get treated this way? Or you? Because here's the thing. If you don't support your enemies, protecting your enemies' liberties, yours can be affected as well when you least expect it. That's what is disturbing. It was not a monumental case, but a deception. And all those imbeciles, I don't have to say their names. Doesn't matter if they're political athletes. It doesn't matter. Jumped on that arrogant bandwagon. Just putting your 2 cents in and making yourself look pristine or sound eloquent. It's nothing more than rubbish. You better look into the mirror before jumping on some ludicrous, trendy, her-conformed bandwagon. Because it will hurt you when you least expect it. And don't scream like a banshee if this happens to you. Your exploited manifestation can turn against you. That's all I have to say about this. What are your thoughts? You know what to do. I'd like to thank everyone for listening. Plus, feel free to download and share us throughout your social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, or something that's interesting you want to check out, whatever you do, please send your correspondence to Decorum. Furthermore, I'll leave this article on my speaker page. If you want to contact me, you can hit me at LokiLuckNumbers03 at protonmail.com. Or if you want to send a donation, you can hit me at PayPal, paypal.me and cash.app/LokiLuck3. If you want to send your donations or subscribe to American Free Press, that will be greatly appreciated. Because we want you guys to know the truth at the best of our abilities. And you can judge for yourselves. Once again, thank you for your time. Plus, always remember that the demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Keep on spreading the love. And may your guardian spirits be with you.